I should have had water before I started this. Hello, my name's Ellory. I'm 24, and this is going to be a video about DID. What is dissociative identity disorder? I'm here to answer questions I suppose you may have. Okay. This isn't going to be really like a medical explanation or a super scientific one. There are places to find those. We will link to some down in the description box. So if you want a more technical explanation, you can go to that. We're going to be giving you a more casual explanation and very less planned out. We did plan out a script, but this is what we're doing. Goodness. This is what we're doing. Welcome to This Is What We're Doing. So, if you don't know, DID stands for Dissociative Identity Disorder. It used to be called Multiple Personality Disorder, but that term was changed because of a lot of stigma and stereotypes that were very harmful to DID systems. What's a DID system, you may ask? Good question. Did you ask that? I don't know. A DID system is us. Our body and everyone living inside of it, we are a DID system. You can also say a dissociative identity system, I guess. We do sometimes. So it's just the collection of people living inside one body together, working as well as they can to do their life. That's a DID system. So how did a DID system happen? Well, a DID system happened because the way that science most supports is that because when you were growing up, starting from when you were like a baby until early childhood, like before you were 9, I think. Okay, let me step back though for a minute. So we're all born babies, right? And we're all developing up, trying to become adults, right? So in the beginning, none of us are actually fully formed personalities. Have you ever hung out with a toddler? You might notice that they can switch their personality very suddenly and dramatically and go from a very sweet, loving, snuggly baby to, I hate you. We live with a toddler. So all babies growing up, when you're growing, you are a bunch of mishmash of everything going on around you and inside of you, and you haven't really formed who you really are and who you will be for a long time. It takes a long time to develop your personality, who you are to other people, and throughout your whole life your personality changes. So when you were a teenager, you were pretty different than who you'll be when you're like 30. Certain things about you will be there, but not everything. You'll change, you'll grow, you'll mold your personality as you need to for your life. So if you're a DID system, you don't take all the mishmash and mish it into one personality. If you're a DID system, you take all the mishmash and you make a bunch of people, because that is the best way to live your life at that time. And these people all have really cool jobs and responsibilities and ways that they can care for your body and your life really well. So as you're growing and developing, it just is like a normal thing. This is why you don't really notice it sometimes till adulthood maybe, because you're just growing up and you are a system, but your system developed in order to function really well in your life, the best you possibly can. And that often means hiding that you're a system even from yourself, because it's not really safe to know that about yourself sometimes, especially if you're surviving trauma. Nothing's safe. So, that was a long explanation about how did DID come to be I want to sum up just so I know what I'm talking about. You're a mishmash of your experiences and your feelings and everything around you that you're learning when you're a baby. Mishmash. And then you're growing up and you may put all your mishmash into one bundle and be one person who changes as you grow. Or you might be a bundle of mishmash people that all share your body, and you also grow and change and develop as a system. Everybody started the same mishmash pile of what happened to you, and then we all, however it best worked out in our life, became a singleton. That's people who are just one in one body, or a multiple. People like us who are many people in one body. Next question that I think you might have. What is an alter? That is DID terminology for all the other people living inside you. So I'm an alter, Big Dipper's an alter, Theodore's an alter, Joe is an alter. We're all alters because we all share the body together. It used to be thought of, and it might still be in some places, that there's just like one person who's like the person who owns the body, and then there's all the alters who interrupt that person's journey with their body. And that, if that makes the most sense to you for your system to explain it that way, go for it. That's okay. For our system, it doesn't make sense because there is no original in us. There's no core. There's no... Here's the question we're going to talk about now. Is there an original person as opposed to all the other people? So answer is no, because as we just discovered, you were all a mishmash in the beginning. There was no original. You didn't even have an original if you're a singleton. You were just this collection. You were a collection. And now you are yourself, your core, yourself, your whatever. But if you were a multiple, then you formed into all these people, maybe not all the ones you have now, but you formed into a bunch of people, and that is they're all the original. They were all there from the beginning, maybe. It's kind of a lot less cut and dry, clear lines than that. Okay, so there's a job called a host. So we are taking over the job of host, kinda, definitely. Not kinda. It's definite. That's what's happening. The host is someone who does a lot of the like day-to-day living, who takes care of a lot of little things, and that's who often I think people mistake for the original. But if you're the host, that doesn't mean you are the one who was there from the beginning. For example, Joe was the host for many years, but Joe was not the first host, and Joe was not the last host. There will be many, many hosts. Talking about a core or an original, it might work for your system, but it doesn't work for all systems. In fact, it seems like the more we learn about systems, the more we're like, nope, nobody had an original. Nobody had this core person that became all these people. We were always all these people, and now we become more people sometimes. So here's another thing. There's like a big group of us inside of here. We haven't actually counted recently. The last time we counted, it was like 12, and now there are more than that. So we are more than 12, probably closer to 20 people living inside here. Those people, some of them have been here for a long time. Some of them didn't, like I didn't really get here. I didn't really split off or become myself fully until we were in our 20s. So it's not... So I totally lost my train of thought. I can't remember what I was saying. What were we talking about? There's no original, at least in our system. We were always this way. And there are a lot of jobs in a system, like host and protector, and those are the only ones I can think of right now. My brain's a little tired. Just a little bit. So people change jobs as we grow and learn different jobs. So like recently, Joe became so burnt out as a host because they were just exhausted by trying to fight all these battles all over our medical battles, our financial battles, and they just couldn't solve any problems anymore. And they got so burnt out and upset and just that they were no longer able to function as a host. They couldn't do their job anymore. And that doesn't mean like we fired them. That means that we relieved them. We said, you don't have to be host anymore. You can do what you need to do to recover or care for yourself or move on in your life, whatever has to happen. So that's how we just decided to totally redesign our system in order to try and make a more functional system to solve all the big problems we're trying to deal with. So that's why I'm now doing a lot of hosting, and Big Dipper also is a co-host. We're like co-hosts together, and Big Dipper's also the main protector, and then Andromeda also became a protector, but also is in charge of all the medical stuff. So we'll do another episode of just telling you about the system redesign that happened, because we're still figuring out who has what job and also who is in here with us, because we don't all know each other. Even though it seems like we're living inside a tiny space, once you're inside a human body, it's quite large. Have you ever been a microbe? I'm not sure I've been a microbe, but maybe I have. It's impossible sometimes to know all the people that exist inside of you until they make themselves known, or you accidentally run into each other. Another thing about DID that's important to tell you about is integration. Integration is sometimes the goal of treatment for DID, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. I don't know, we're not a therapist. Talk to a therapist about your treatment goals. Integration is when you take two or more of the people living inside you and they go into one person, or sometimes they go into one person and then a new person splits off. That's another option. So it's basically supposed to be a good, and it often is a good thing in a system to help people grow up, to become who they want to be, or for the system as a whole to make itself, to keep homeostasis going, to keep the balance of people and jobs and what we're all doing together going. Let's say, for instance, you have Stacy and Bob. These are random names. And they are in a system together. And Bob is trying really hard to grow up. And Stacy might be having a really hard time with their job. So the two of them might, in their efforts to grow and change and shift, might go into one person in order to grow up and do a job better. That's just one way integration can happen. There are probably infinite ways, because being a system is complex and mysterious and very special and wonderful. It's not a thing we would want to change about ourselves. We love being a system. It's a wonderful way to live our life. There's something always moving and changing about us, and we love that. That makes our life really rich feeling. So integration can be really helpful. It can also be really sad, because the people that were there are no longer there. They are gone. Like Bob and Stacy integrate into each other, then it might be that both Bob and Stacy are no longer there at all, and you have a new person named Timothy, maybe. And now Timothy is both Bob and Stacy, but Timothy is themselves and a person, a whole person. Timothy isn't Bob and Stacy. So integrations are good, but they can also be heartbreaking and terrible and sad and confusing for people inside and for people outside, because it might be you are best friends with a person in here, inside of us, or inside of another system, and it might be that person integrates, and then you don't have your best friend anymore. You have there's a new person there, or there's just nobody there. Your person's gone. So that part is really sad. We'll make probably another video about integration, because it's a whole big thing that we would like to talk about. But we wanted to give you a little snippet now so you understood kind of the whole picture of DID. If you have questions, please ask us in the comments. We would like to do more explaining about it and learning about it. And we would like you to be more informed if that's how you want to be. We are running a GoFundMe right now. It's for our medical costs, because we need to be able to get properly diagnosed and treated for tick-borne infections or whatever is wrong with us. So please go visit our GoFundMe page. We've written a letter on there too, explaining our whole story. We've written it using plural language about our body, because we were unable to write it in singular language because it didn't make any sense, because we all lived our whole life together in one way or another. So Please understand that's why we use plural language in most of our writing, actually, because it makes the most sense. If it's a little bit confusing to you, just bear with us. It's okay to be confused sometimes. We're confused a lot of the time. So it's okay to be a little confused. Just hang in there with us. We're here with you. Let's stay together, okay? Okay. I'm so tired. I need to stop. Believe yourselves. Believe in yourselves. Keep living, and we will see you very soon. Baby, you're a firework. Come on, let your colors burst. Make them go, oh, 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 as you shoot across the sky. Baby, you're a firework. Come on, let your colors burst. Make them go, ah, 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 ah. You gotta leave them, do, 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 do.